I wonder if he's named after Olajuwon. Are you named after Olajuwon? That's cute. All right, Miss Sir, you're charged with theft, aggregate theft. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
Yes, Judge.
Okay.
On January 12th, 2025, the officer responded to an HEB in Harris County, Texas, in regard to the theft of an employee. The officer made contact with the complainant, the loss prevention investigator. The complainant stated the defendant was an employee of HEB, and the loss prevention employee was notified by a store manager that the defendant was taking Red Bull into the pharmacy without paying, drinking the Red Bulls, and then throwing it away. These acts were verified by video, and the complainant researched the defendant and noticed that when the defendant left his shift, he would have a bag of unpaid grocery items, which like items throughout the store, bring the unpaid items into the pharmacy, wait until the end of his shift, bag the products, and then leave the pharmacy without attempting to pay for the merchandise. The complainant observed the defendant take items without paying in 7 different days. The total was approximately $368.38.
All right. Sir, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. I'm ordering you as a condition of your bond not to go back to any HEB. Do you understand? If you violate these conditions, you pick up a new case, I'm going to put you in jail. No more PR bonds. You understand, sir? Are you working now? Do you have an income?
I am studying for my board exam. So no,
Studying for board exam for what?
actually,
Really? It's not a good way to start, sir. You know, really. Look, I'll give you a lawyer today. Don't pick up any new cases. You got to understand that you got your future ahead of you, man. You want to be a nurse and now you got, come on, really? I need you to fill out an application for me. Fill it out. Let me take a look at it. I'll give you a lawyer today. Just make smart moves. It's not hard, you know, really. Come on.
Judge, was that response?
Yeah. Do you mind filing knowing back HEB, please? Any HEB.
Yes, Judge.
All right, Judge, counsel is approaching on page 7. Hernandez, come on up.
Hi, good morning. Hi.
Assisting Joseph Ruiz today.
I'm sorry?
I'm here assisting Joseph Ruiz today.
Okay, for sure. You are Joaquin Hernandez.
sorry.
Mr. Hernandez, you're charged with driving while intoxicated. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
Yes, Judge. On January 12th, 2025, the officer was dispatched to 7000 Gulf Freeway, and another officer had advised that the defendant would sleep in the driver's seat of the vehicle. The vehicle was on and running, and the officer observed a container of beer in plain view in the center cup holder. The officer made contact with the
Drinking while driving?
Yes, Judge. And the officer observed a strong odor of an alcoholic beverage, watery bloodshot eyes, slurred speech, and the defendant admitted to consuming beer, but did not state the amount. The officer observed a 12-ounce Michelob Ultra cold to the touch and a plastic bag labeled Margarita to go with a straw sticking out of it, mostly consumed, and an open pack of beer in the back seat. The standard field sobriety tests were performed, HGN 6 out of 6. Walk and turn and one leg stand were not performed due to the defendant claiming he had one bad leg. The defendant was read the DIC and declined to provide a sample, and a blood search warrant was signed and executed.
Mr. Hernandez, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. Can you see if he has any prior DWIs, please?
Yes, Judge. I see no prior DWIs.
I would venture a guess that it's damn elementary that you're not supposed to have alcohol in the car. I am now taking away your privilege to drive. You will be signing an affidavit with me today, promising me you're not going to drive, and I don't give a rat's behind what is going on in your life. If I find that you drive, and I don't care if there's a burning building and you have to save 50 children, I can have a contempt hearing. And every time you drive, you can be facing up to 6 months in jail and a $500 fine. Do you understand? Do not drive for any reason. If you have a problem with drugs or alcohol, you better address it, because if you don't, I will do it for you. And I promise you're not going to like the way that I do it. I'm ordering you not to consume alcohol, illegal drugs, or unprescribed controlled medication. If I find anything, you're going to stay with me. No more PR bonds.
Will he have the opportunity to have an interlock system on his vehicle?
No, he can't drive. I'm not going to let him drive. I mean, he's got multiple open containers, all have consumed allegedly. No, I mean, and I would think that, you know, it's a privilege. And if I get that he understands the awesome privilege at a later date, come back and we can talk. But at this point, no. I will have you come up here, swear to us that you're not going to drive. After that, I'm going to get you the Victoria sign and reset. After that, what is your name, please?
Kia Smith.
I'm sorry?
Smith.
Ms. Smith. You will get to Ms. Smith where she will give you your bond conditions. After that, you'll be free to go. Because you have a lawyer, I will waive your appearance, but it is your responsibility to stay in touch with them. If they tell me they can't get a hold of you because you're playing games, you pick up a new case, you endanger my public, I'm going to revoke your bond and I'm going to put you in jail. Do you understand? It's not hard.
Judge, when we return on March 19, is there a possibility that we can present evidence to the court to permit the interlock?
I am always all ears, but at this point, with all that's in that car, no. But come back at a later day, show me, because it is a privilege. It's not a right. You want a right, take your Dodge Patas and take, but it's an awesome privilege, and that's what it is. Show me how much of an appreciation, proactivity goes a long way, and then we can talk. All right? Yes, ma'am.
Judge, just really quick, I didn't know there was no alcohol, is it random related?
Please, on all DWIs, Randy Days.
And
Yeah.
it's, public device or no?
No,
Okay, yes.
it's a first.
All right, Judge.
You said
next is
you said it's a first, right?
Rand,
Two first?
come on
Okay.
up.
Your name, Joaquin Hernandez. Please tell us for the firm that you will not operate on roads without a valid driver's license and no driving whatsoever. I don't understand the for the next time.
What is your last name, sir?
Duran, D-U-R-A.
Mr. Duran, you are charged with unlawful carrying of a weapon. You are facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. Do you know you have a lawyer?
Right.
Is your lawyer going to be here today?
Yes.
Okay, so let's do this. I'm just gonna have you take a seat. We'll pass and we'll wait for your lawyer to get here. And then, okay, please. Hey, he's got a lawyer, so I'm gonna wait till Mr. Mercer gets here.
There's somebody
Hi, how are you?
attached. You have a name?
Yeah, it's David Mercer,
Mercer?
Or Michael. I guess he goes by Michael.
All right, Judge, next is page 3. There are 3 co-defendants.
Okay,
Gallegos, come on up. Jamero, come on up. And Garcia, Chris, come on up.
are any of you here with parents today?
No, sir.
None of you came with any parents.
No, sir.
Mr. Gallegos, you were charged with discharging a firearm. Who's Gallegos?
I'm here, sir.
Mr. Gallegos, you were charged with discharging a firearm in a metropolitan area. You are facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. Are you Mr. Gamero? Mr. Gamero, you were charged with unlawful carrying of a weapon. You are facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. Mr. Garcia, you were also charged with discharging a firearm in a metropolitan area. All of you are facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You each have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you.
On January 12th, 2025, the officer observed 4 males in dark clothing forming a circle and discharging several high caliber weapons into the air while on patrol behind a residential neighborhood in Harris County, Texas. The officer observed 2 males run towards Muscatine Street and 2 males flee towards Garber Lane, where the officer remained stationary. The officer identified the second male apprehended as defendant Gamero, 18 years old, who was found in possession of a Glock handgun tucked into his waistband. Defendant Gamero admitted that he and a co-defendant, a 14-year-old juvenile, had been firing an AR-15 and a Glock along with 2 other males who fled with a second AR pistol, and the other 2 males were apprehended. one of which was defendant Gallegos, 17 years old. Defendant Gallegos confirmed the other male's identity and stated the weapons had been passed around among 4 individuals and that all were involved in shooting them, and that the AR was purchased from an unknown individual in the street. The 4th male was identified as defendant Garcia, 17 years old. Defendant Garcia admitted to firing all 3 seized weapons, and defendant Garcia was observed disposing of an AR-15 and surrendering.
Gentlemen, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with each of your cases, and I am ordering you as the condition of your bond not to consume alcohol, illegal drugs, or unprescribed controlled medication. How old are each of you? How old are you, sir?
17.
How old are you?
17.
How old are you?
I too.
What do you do with yourselves?
Well, I just be at the home with my girlfriend.
Did you graduate from high school?
No, sir.
We're going to work on that. Did you graduate from high school?
No, sir.
I'm so great.
Yeah.
Are you currently enrolled in school?
No, I had dropped out, but
Okay, not anymore.
this
We're going to work on that. What's your situation?
I'm currently enrolling in school because I just left and
No. Are you enrolled
No,
or are you
sir.
not? Okay, we're going to work on that as well. Did you graduate? We're going to work on it. The first thing I'm going to tell each of you is that you are not to smoke any weed. I'm sending you each for a test right now because I want to know what, if anything, is in your system. If there's something in your system, you will get a pass today. But I'm giving you notice now that you will be retested in 45 days. And if I find that you continue to use, I'm going to put you in jail. I don't know if you're using, but if you are, it stops today. And if you stop today, in 45 days, you will be clean. If you continue to use, you're going to end up staying with me. Do you understand?
yes, sir.
What goes up must come down. So when you fire a gun in the air, a bullet has to go somewhere. If it lands on a 7-year-old's head, what happens? It's a rhetorical question, meaning that you don't need to answer. But I'm giving you something to think about, that what goes up must come down. What goes down will ricochet. And if it ricochets into a person, someone's going to get charged with that murder. Do you understand?
Yes,
There
sir.
are proper places to do these things. That's what you do. As far as I'm concerned now, none of you are to be in possession of any weapons whatsoever. Don't worry about filing any conditions because each of them are going to be honored.
Yes,
I
Judge.
will provide each of you guys a lawyer today, and I'm going to send you for a test. You must come back. If you fail to go test, if you fail to come back, I'm going to issue a warrant for your arrest. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, take a seat for me, please.
Right this way.
Or I'm going to have you sign resets and then we'll have you take a seat.
Chris? Get you first. Just a second. Okay, go ahead.
Morning, Mr. Garcia. Sir, you were charged with unlawful carrying of a weapon. You are facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
Yes, Judge. On January 9th, 2025, officers were dispatched to a disturbance with a weapon at a Boost Mobile business in Harris County, Texas. The officers were advised that 2 suspects were trying to rob the store, one with a handgun and in a wheelchair. The officer observed the male matching the description inside the business, and the defendant turned as if he was going to leave. The officer asked the defendant if he had any weapons on him, and the defendant stated he did not have any weapons and that he was confused as to what was going on. The defendant agreed to the officer patting him down for weapons and immediately began reaching into his pockets, claiming he was going to retrieve his wallet. The officer observed the defendant to have an unholstered black handgun on the right side waistband tucked between his shorts, and the defendant claimed the handgun was his sister's, was borrowed for safety, and the holster was in his sister's car.
So you said they were robbing the place and
He was reported to be involved in a robbery, and that's what the officer was.
they charged?
They charged him with, no, just the possession of PCS and then the unlawful carry.
Mr. Garcia, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. I'm ordering you as the condition of your bond not to consume alcohol, illegal drugs, or unprescribed controlled medication. If I find that you're using illegal drugs, any kind of alcohol, I will put you in jail. No more PR bonds. As it stands now, you're on felony probation. You've now picked up a case with us and you have a felony possession case. Is there a co-defendant in this case?
Yes, Your Honor, there actually, no, Your Honor, there's not.
You said,
They allegedly had two suspects, but the officer only made contact with the one defendant.
you're not to be in possession of any weapons, no alcohol, no drugs. Do you understand?
Yes, yes, sir.
Tell me, do you need a lawyer appointed to you today?
Yes. I'm getting one, but not right now.
I can
So, yeah.
now if you want. But don't pick up any new cases. Don't be a danger to my community, Mr. Garcia, because I'm going to tell you now, I'm going to protect
I was buying a phone.
Stop. Don't say anything. Just, I want you to know that I'm going to protect my community at all costs. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
I don't know what happened. I wasn't there. We got to wait for the evidence to come in. That's going to show us whose side is correct. I don't know. We'll get there. But just while you're out there in the free world, make the right moves. Because if I see you making wrong moves, I have only one place for you. Do you understand? Can you reach out to the Mac for Mr. Garcia, please? All right, so for now, I'm going to have you sign a receipt with Victoria. We'll have you get with Ms. Smith for your bond conditions, and then I'll have you take a seat in the jury box. Please.
Casey, are you ready on yours? Yes, thank you. All right, Judge, counsel is approaching for page 16.
Okay.
Tiarina, come on up. Go ahead and sign here.
Hi, Casey. Happy Friday. How are you?
Any big plans this weekend?
No, not really. Just kind of hang out with my folks, you know. Yeah. You? Anything good?
No, I have a friend's 35th birthday party tonight, but
That'll be fun.
yeah,
Yeah.
mob themed, so.
Oh, awesome. Are y'all going to like a special place for it?
No, their house.
You were Miss Tijerina.
Yes, sir.
Ma'am, you're charged with driving while intoxicated. Second offense. You are facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, ma'am.
Yes, Judge. On January 11th, 2025, the officer observed the defendant's vehicle bearing an unreadable E-tag at the 6900 block of Spencer Highway. A traffic stop was conducted and the officer made contact with the defendant, the driver of the vehicle. The defendant stated she was aware the E-tag was unreadable as it was waterlogged from being so old, that the E-tag was expired as of November 2024, and that her license plates were at home but not yet on the motor vehicle. The officer confirmed the defendant was operating the motor vehicle with the wrong license plates and observed no proof of financial responsibility for the vehicle. The officer observed slurred speech, red glossy eyes, and a strong odor of an alcoholic beverage. The defendant stated she was coming from a local bar, had consumed a bucket of Michelob Ultra beers, and standard fields of writings were conducted. HGN 6 out of 6, walk and turn 3 out of 8, one leg stand 3 out of 4. The defendant was read the DIC and attempted a breath. The defendant attempted to provide a breath sample but was unable to complete the test. A blood search warrant was signed and executed.
Did you say she did field sobriety test or no?
She did. Would you like me to read them again?
Yeah.
HGN 6 out of 6, walk and turn 3 out of 8, and one leg stand 3 out of 4.
Mr. Kitty, I'm going to find that there's enough probable cause to go forward with your case. Can you see if she has a valid license?
It's eligible, Your Honor.
Okay, I'm now placing a restriction on that license. You are not allowed to drive any vehicle that's not equipped with an ignition interlock on it. You're also not to consume alcohol or illegal drugs, and I'm going to randomly test you. If I find that you're consuming, I'm going to revoke your bond. I will put you in jail. No more PR bonds. Do you understand?
Yes, sir. And Judge, we're fine with the random testing. She did already let me know of a scheduled trip that she has, so can we let pretrial know those dates?
You can go on your trip, but understand you're still not to use. You're going to get tested as soon as you get back. If you test positive, it's not going to go well for you. Do you understand? I
Yes,
don't
sir.
care where you are in this world. You're still under bond condition in this court, not to use. Don't get in trouble. Make wise decisions, because if you don't, there will be disastrous consequences. And while you're out there, if you're driving, you're not allowed to unless it has an interlock on it. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So yeah, let Ms. Smith know about the travel, so that way.
I don't want her to get
Don knows.
violated this.
So you have a lawyer. Because you have a lawyer, I will waive your appearance. You don't have to waste your time coming to court, but you must stay in touch with Casey, and she'll tell you when you have to come back to court. If she tells me that you've gone AWOL, she can't get a hold of you, I'm gonna revoke the bond. Do you understand, man?
Yes, sir.
All right. I'll have you sign a receipt with Victoria. We'll have you get with Ms. Smith for your bond conditions, and then you're free to go. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Judge.
Have fun tonight.
All right, Judge, next is page 6. Gomez, come on up.
You are Jorge Gomez.
There I am.
Mr. Gomez, you're charged with driving while intoxicated. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
Yes, Judge. On January 12th, 2025, the officer was dispatched to the 6800 block of Highway 225 within the city limits of Deer Park for a sedan stationary in lane 2 with a missing front tire. The officer observed the defendant in the driver's seat slumped over, the vehicle to be in drive, and the defendant to have his foot on the gas. The officer observed damage to the front right of the motor vehicle and the front right tire to be missing. The officer had to force entry into the vehicle to check the defendant's welfare due to the vehicle being locked. The officer put the vehicle in park and turned the vehicle off. The officer called out to the defendant, shook his arm, and administered 4 to 5 sternum rubs, and the defendant then slowly woke up and was unaware of what was occurring. The officer observed slurred speech, red glossy eyes, and a strong odor of an alcoholic beverage, in addition to unsteadiness on the defendant's feet. The officer observed a buzzball chiller and beatbox alcoholic drink on the front passenger floorboard, both containers empty. The defendant stated he drank 6 beers earlier in the night and thought he was still in Houston. Extended field sobriety tests were administered, HGN 6 out of 6, walk and turn 6 out of 8, one leg stand 3 out of 4. The defendant was read the DIC and consented to provide a blood sample.
Are you telling me that there was alcohol while he was driving?
They just found empty containers. There's no facts indicating.
Okay. Does he have a valid Texas driver license?
All right, Your Honor.
Please. And any prior to BIs that can run an NCIC. Mr. Gomez, I'm going to find that there's enough probable cause to go forward with your case. I'm ordering you as a condition of your bond not to consume alcohol or illegal drugs. I'm going to randomly test you. If I find that you're using, I'm going to revoke your bond. I'm going to put you in jail. No more PR bonds. Do you understand?
Your Honor, no prior DWIs and life is eligible.
If you don't have liability insurance coupled with that license, then you're not allowed to drive. That's also a condition of your bond as well. Do you understand? Do you have the ability to hire a lawyer?
No, sir.
Do you want to apply for an appointed lawyer?
Sir, the thing is, I'm actually on probation for a different.
Stop. Just don't. All I want to know is you want a court-appointed lawyer.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to appoint you a lawyer today. Just don't say anything. I've got a bunch of DAs here. Whatever they say, they can use it against you. I'll have you sign a receipt, Victoria. We're going to give you an application. You will eventually meet with Ms. Smith, and then we'll appoint your lawyer.
Yes.
Okay? Leave.
Judge, next one, bottom of page 6, as an attorney, he came by yesterday to try to do an opt-out here. Is conflict with conspiracy?
So we can go ahead and do it?
Yes.
Okay.
I
Greenie?
Give him a reset and he can opt out in this setting.
Okay. Is this our usual Jim Butler or the other Jim Butler?
Yes.
Our usual? Okay.
Good morning, Judge.
Hi.
How are you, sir?
You standing in for Mr. Butler?
I'm standing in for Mr.
Okay,
Butler.
wonderful.
I'm a Mac attorney as well.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Good to see you.
Okay. Good morning, ma'am. Ma'am, you're charged with you are Miss Greenie. Okay, Miss Greenie, you're charged with driving while intoxicated. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, ma'am.
Yes, Judge.
Okay.
On January 9th, 2025, the officer was dispatched to 1100 Siegler Road regarding a major crash, and the officer observed the defendant outside her vehicle talking to Houston Fire Department. The defendant's vehicle was in a ditch with apparent minor front end damage, was on and in the in-park position. The defendant appeared disoriented, had poor balance, and was not able to stand unassisted. The defendant stated she had the motor vehicle's key fob in her pocket, and the defendant was taken to HCA Healthcare, and the officer then went to HCA to obtain a statement. The officer observed a strong odor of an alcoholic beverage and bloodshot eyes. The defendant stated she did not strike her head or lose consciousness due to the collision and drank between 1 to 10 12-ounce Miller Lite beers prior to operating the motor vehicle and getting into the collision. The defendant further stated she could not remember the time she drank her last beer. Standard field sobriety tests were administered, HGN 6 out of 6, Walk and turn and one leg stand were refused as the defendant stated her balance has always been bad. The defendant was read the DIC and a blood search warrant was signed and executed.
All right, ma'am, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. I'm ordering you as a condition of your bond not to consume alcohol or illegal drugs. I'm going to randomly test you. If I find that you're using, I will revoke your bond, put you in jail. No more PR bonds for you, ma'am. Any prior DWIs?
No, Your Honor. And her license is eligible.
You have a lawyer. Because you have a lawyer, I will waive your appearance, but it is your responsibility to stay in touch with them. If they tell me they can't get a hold of you, I will revoke your bond. Don't pick up any new cases, and that's it. Okay, so I'll have you sign a wreath of Victoria. We'll have you get with Ms. Smith for your bond conditions, and then you're free to go. Thank you, Judge. All right.
See you.
You too. Take care.
All right, Judge, page 8, Jackson, come on up. Counsel, how guys, large.
You are Porter Jackson.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Jackson, you're charged with possession of marijuana. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
Yes, Judge. On January 10th, 2025, the officer observed the defendant's vehicle traveling east at the intersection of 2200 block of Spears Road and TC Jester with a defective license plate light. The traffic stop was initiated and the officer made contact with the defendant. The officer observed a strong odor of marijuana emitting from the vehicle and a PC search was conducted. The officer located a green leafy substance believed to be marijuana based on training experience in the driver's side of the vehicle. The weight was approximately 1 ounce.
Was it?
It was on the driver's side.
All right, Mr. Jackson, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. You run his license.
Not eligible, Your Honor.
If you don't have a license, you are not allowed to drive. Do you understand, Mr. Jackson? You will be signing an affidavit with me today promising me you're not going to drive. I don't care what's going on in your life. If you want to drive, go get a license, get liability insurance, come back to me, and I'll take this restriction off. But I'm going to tell you now, if I find that you drive, I'm going to sprout horns in the tail. Like, that's how upset I'm going to be. Do you understand? Tell me, did you want to apply for a court-appointed lawyer? Do you mind giving him, please? Okay. Tell me about yourself. What do you do these days, Mr. Jackson? How old are you?
23.
So what plans for the future do you have? What? Why?
I gotta get it renewed. Yeah. That's all. I just gotta get it renewed.
You have the ability to make it's just a boatload of money with that license, and I don't understand why you're gonna let it expire. I'm making it a condition that you get a job. You need to get a full-time job. You know that, have you ever like explored underwater welding? Have you ever looked into that? How much money do they make? No. How much money do they make? How much is that a year? That's probably like 120, 130 a year. You can make sick money. And come on, man, be better. All right. So do you mind giving in the application? I'm telling you, I'm gonna stay on top of it to make sure that you get that thing back and that you're working, that you're making some good money. Do you understand? All right, come on.
I will sort of remember. I would sign right here. My story is.
Judge, that's pretrial bond condition.
Yeah. Can you file that, please?
Yes, sir.
So
Not the paper.
no driving,
And,
get a job.
yes.
Pretty right hand.
All right, Judge, next is page 10, Ixby, come on.
Yeah. And now it's at next shoulder. All right. You understand that?
Good morning, Mr. Pickney. Sir, you're charged with driving on a suspended license. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
Yes, Judge. On January 9th, 2025, the officer observed the defendant's vehicle traveling at the 7600 block of North Wayside Drive with a defective front headlight not illuminated. The traffic stop was initiated and the officer made contact with the defendant, the driver of the vehicle. The defendant provided a Texas driver's license but was unable to provide proof of financial responsibility. The officer found the Texas driver's license to be not eligible with an active SR suspension, and the defendant was the registered owner of the vehicle, and the insurance database showed insurance policy for the vehicle had expired as of March 14th, 2024.
Got it. All right, Mr. Pickney, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with the case. I'm ordering you not to drive. You will be signing an affidavit with me today promising me you're not going to drive. This is a legal document that you're going to swear to me. If you violate this, I can have a hearing. If you prove it to me that you're driving, I can have a hearing to hold you in contempt and hit you with up to 6 months in jail every single time. Do you understand? So if you drive 5 times, I can have 5 different hearings. Do you understand? Yes or no? Do not drive. If you want to, go get your license, get insurance, come back to me, and I will so happily take this off, but just don't until you do that. It's not hard. You understand? Bless you. Did you want to apply for an appointed lawyer? You know, I had someone send me an email not too long ago where they were in an accident and created $50,000 worth of worth of damage to another person, and they didn't know what to do because they ended up just getting sued. Person filed a lawsuit against them, is coming after them. They're, what do I do? What do I do? This is solved by having car insurance. When you're in an accident, that's why we have insurance. So it's not a joke. You look at me like it's, but I'm being serious. I'm trying to help you. Don't, right. Do it the right way. Great things will happen for you. I'm going to give you a lawyer. The lawyer can try to help you out with what you need to do to get your license back. But there's no excuse. If you get into a car, I'm going to lose it. Do you understand? Okay, come on.
So that was a no driving affidavit?
Yeah.
That's it?
No, we'll do bond conditions as well. Do you mind following that? No driving without license and insurance.
Yes.
All right, stay out of trouble. Just don't drive. That's all I'm asking you to do. You know, if you get your license, go get insurance. I'm so happy for you. I'll take this restriction off. It's not hard. Look. Here, if you mind giving this, this is the number to the driver's license division for DPS. When you call there, you can ask them what you need to do to get your number. The line is so busy that if you call at any time, they're not going to get, you have to call at 7 in the morning, right when the phone lines open up, call them, ask them what you need to do to get the license, and they'll tell you. But don't drive until you do it, until we get approval from us. All right. We've given you a lawyer. It is your responsibility to stay in touch with her. If she tells me she can't get a hold of you because you're playing games or you pick up a new case, I'm going to put you in jail. No more PR bonds. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, man. Good luck. That way. So what is his last name again? What is your last name? Mr. Gallegos.
Page 3.
This is not a good way to start in life. I can tell you now that if you don't have a high school diploma, you will make pennies to when everybody else is making dollars. You will never have a good job in this life at a minimum without a high school diploma. Knowledge is power. And if you don't set yourself up for something in the future, you're going to end up destitute, 90% of the marriages that are end up in divorce now is because people have no money. They fight constantly because they never have money. And it all starts now when you're 17. And it starts by staying in high school. I want you to do that. I'm going to bring you back in 2.5 weeks. I want to see what you have done to get back into school. If you need help, I can give you resources so that we can sign you up for free GED classes. Because I don't know if you're old enough to get back into high school, but if you want, I can give you resources now so that you can start with GED classes. That's fine with me. One more thing, no smoking weed. I will test you 45 to 50 days from today. If I find that you're smoking weed, it's not going to go well. You get my drift.
Yes, Your Honor.
If you stop as of now, the next time I test you, it should be negative. If you continue to use, you understand?
Yes, sir.
You must stay in touch with Ms. Oakfor. She'll tell you how to handle this case and what you need to do. If she tells you that you're playing games, I'm going to put you in jail. No more PR bonds. All right? You understand?
Yes, sir.
Good luck, man. Make me proud.
Thank you.
Come on.